Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a different type of video. I'm going to be doing a story time chat video, and it's going to be on my high school experience. I've run through this a couple times because I knew I'd get I just keep rambling on and I'd lose my train of thought, which may happen a lot here. Yeah, so I just wanted to share this video because actually 10 years ago today I graduated from high school. Yes, so it's been 10 years since I graduated from high school. I can't believe it. It has been so long and a lot has happened in 10 years. Just a lot of life has happened in 10 years, and just so I've been thinking about just as this 10-year anniversary of me graduating is coming up, I've just been kind of going back and thinking about that period in my life, and I just wanted to share some things with you. The good, the bad, the awkward, the embarrassing, all that jazz, all that fun stuff. So yeah, I don't know if anyone will even watch this or be interested in this, but I just thought if one person is entertained, if one or it helps one person, then I'm good with that. And I just wanted to get this out there. It's kind of just for me to go back and think about it. It's kind of like a video diary status. So yeah, let's get on into it. So basically, just some background. I graduated from a very small school, it's a very small private Christian school that I graduated from. So I had about 70 or so kids in my graduating class, and it was just a tiny little fishbowl. Everybody knew everybody. Not that everybody was friends with everybody, but there wasn't anyone that you didn't know, oh, I don't know that person's name. You just knew who everyone was, and that's all grades. I knew who pretty much everyone was in the whole high school. So yeah, I had gone through the school actually since kindergarten, so I really had known some of these people since I was 5 years old, and that's a really long time. So yeah, this was an end of an era for me to be graduating from the school. I knew nothing else. I was getting ready to go to a public state university, and that was going to be a huge change. But anyways, backtracking. So, or let me backtrack about that because that's future. I could do a whole nother video on college, but I'm talking about high school right now. So anyways, and I'm probably going to be super fidgety because I'm just kind of was nervous to film. But I've been on what type of group, clique, crowd I fell into at high school. So basically I would describe myself as an other. I wasn't popular or anything by any means. I was not cool. As I saw myself as someone I was very quiet and shy, and I didn't talk to that many people except for my close circle of friends. So I had my friends. I wasn't a loner or anything, but I didn't talk to a lot of people if I didn't know them, if they weren't in my friend group. There were a few people that I talked to outside of that, and it wasn't because I was didn't want to or was rude. I was terrified. I just couldn't talk to people. I just get super self-conscious, and I was just so shy and so quiet. That's pretty much how I'm sure people remember me as, which isn't the worst, the girl who never talked, better than probably some other things, but that's, I guess, probably how I would be remembered by. But anyway, so along with that comes a lot of funny moments, I guess. So like I said, I wasn't cool. I viewed myself Mia Thermopolis in the Princess Diaries. Somebody sat on me again today. Maybe not quite that dramatic, but I did feel sometimes I was invisible sometimes, and sometimes that was on purpose. I just wanted to be invisible. I just wanted to go under the radar, but sometimes it's kind of hard because I did kind of want to put myself a little bit more out there, but I just didn't feel I was able to at that time in my life. I just it's like I said, very self-conscious and everything, and so I didn't really put myself out there too much, except the people who only people who really knew me were my close friends, like I said. So anyways, the perspective of high school you'll be getting is that of the shy, quiet girl who played flute in the marching band and just tried to get by without talking to too many people in high school, and just kind of observed what was going on around me. And anyway, so, and also with that, a lot of random, like, awkward, embarrassing things just kind of like happened to me back then. I just remember like certain awkward, embarrassing times the most. For whatever reason, those just stuck out in my mind. Like my best friend, that I'm still best friends with to this day from in high school, she'll be like, oh, remember like that really fun thing we did in class or whatever? I'll be like, no, but I remember the time I peed my pants in kindergarten. So yeah, I have a weird selective memory like that. So anyways, getting into those things, I wanted to share just like two like experiences that I had that kind of just like encompass like what my life was like in high school, just gives you like a good glimpse of like what my high school self was like. So the first thing was my awkward formal experience, and I probably had a couple awkward formal experiences, but this one just sticks out to me the most, one I remember the most. So anyways, this one happened in my sophomore year, and so basically, again, a little background. I never dated in high school. I didn't have a formal date. I didn't have a boyfriend. No one was trying to date me in high school. Well, okay, no one I wanted to date was trying to date me in high school. So anyways, that was me. So I never had a date to formal. I always just went with my friends, my girlfriends. So anyways, one day we were sitting at lunch, me and my friends were sitting at lunch at our tree, and I can do a whole nother video about our lunch tree, but I'll try to keep this short. Sitting at lunch at our tree, and one of my friend's moms came up to us, and she was always on campus. She was just like super involved, so like she was just always there. So she came and talked to us, just, you know, she was asking us about formal and like if we were going with anyone, whatever. And we're like, yeah, we're like probably going, but like we're just gonna go with, you know, friends. We're just gonna go with our group. And she brought up that her friend, who was a mom of this boy that was in marching band with a couple of us, she brought up that she was friends with this mom, and she brought up that she had asked her, okay, so I'm backtracking again. Before I continue, I'm just gonna be like throwing names out, but I'm changing like all the names, so I'm just gonna be like making them up in my head. I'm gonna be making up the names. I might like forget what I named the person, so hopefully I remember the names and I don't call them like three different things. Okay, so our friend's mom was named Stacy. Okay, that's just what I came up with. Her name was Stacy, and then the other mom, her mom friend, her name was Roberta. Okay, so Roberta had asked Stacy if we would all want to go with her son, who is now going to be called Tobias. If we wanted to be going, if we wanted to go, or not really if we would go to formal with Tobias. So Tobias's mother had asked our friend's mother if we would all go to formal with Tobias. And now none of us were like actually friends with Tobias. He was a year older than us. We didn't talk to him. He didn't talk to us. He hadn't talked to us about this. So it was kind of just like out of nowhere. And but I guess he didn't have anyone to go with, and I guess it was just like notorious that we didn't have anyone to go with. I don't know, but we weren't gonna have dates, so let's ask them. Anyways, so she asked her if we'd all go to formal with him, and not just like I said, not like one of us, like would you go to formal with him, like one of us, but like all of us, like there was like 6 or 7 of us, if we would all go to formal with him. So we're like that's kind of weird, I don't know about that. And then she said, what I name it, Roberta said that she would pay for a limo to take everyone in the limo to formal. And then so once I heard limo, I was like, oh, like that's a horse of a different color. Like I don't care if he was Voldemort, like I'm going, because I've never been in a limo before. I really wanted to go in a limo. Had never been in a limo before. Honestly, I think that was the only time I've ever been in a limo. That's including my wedding. So this was my one chance to be in a limo. So anyways, I was like, yes, I don't care. I want to go in a limo. I don't care who it is. We'll go. So we kind of had to like do some convincing like within the friend group that like we should do this. Let's just go. It's not a big deal. We're just going as friends. All going as friends. So we ended up agreeing that we would go. And then also, okay, a little bit about our formal. It's a little different than like your average formal because they didn't allow dancing in our school. So we didn't have dances. It was like legit like Footloose. So basically it was like an Oscar night type thing. Like every class would make a movie, usually like an original movie or like a remake of a movie, and then there'd be like an awards like best actor, best editing, what have you. And so the first part would be we'd have dinner, and then we would we'd have usually like rent out like a old theater, watch all the movies, and then we'd have like the presenting of the awards of each category. Anyways, so that was our formal. So it was a little bit different. Like yeah, there wasn't dancing, it was just dinner, and literally like dinner and a movie and a show. So anyways, but other than that, it was like typical, like you got dressed up, you know, you bring a date or not, and you go to formal like any other like public school would. So anyways, so as the formal was approaching, so like as I said, there is dinner, and so you choose like who sits at your table, whoever you're going with. But as far as like where you're sitting at the table, it's like assigned seating. So when you get to the formal, you'll have like your name, you know, at your seat or whatever. And so that doesn't make sense kind of to me now I'm thinking about it. I have to like remember, because if you had a date, you'd want to sit by them. So I feel like you'd be able to choose who you sat by, but I don't know how it worked if you didn't have a date. Maybe I think they just picked who was sitting where, because like it wouldn't matter, you know. So anyways, so it came back, it was getting closer to the formal, and so we were kind of like getting like kind of like not nervous, but like kind of like questioning like, okay, this is kind of getting closer. It's kind of going to be getting a little bit uncomfortable because we know that one of us is going to have to sit by Tobias, and none of us want it to be like identified as like his date. Like we didn't want people to think like, okay, that's their date, Tobias is like her date, and then they're just all going with like they're just going with her friends. But yeah, we didn't want that. We didn't want it to seem like he was one of our dates specifically, but just like we were all friends, but we knew like one of us was gonna have to sit by him. And so when we didn't know who that person would be, so we're kind of like I don't know, like we're just getting kind of like, I don't know, anxious, like uncomfortable about it kind of. So it kind of was getting like a little bit uncomfortable at that point. But we had agreed, and so we were still going to be going with Tobias. And anyways, so the night of the formal comes, and okay, again, I'm going to like be renaming some of my friends. Let's hope I remember what I named them. So me and my friend Jill, went to my friend Steffi's house to go together to my friend Becky's house. Becky. Okay, let's keep track of this. To my friend Becky's house. So then the limo was going to be at Becky's house. So, but I usually went with my friend Stephanie to formal. Like we had like carpooled there, so we were going to go. And also I was going to be spending the night at Stephanie's house at night. So me and my friend Jill went to Stephanie's house first before we went to Becky's house to go to the limo, get in the limo or whatever. So we were at Stephanie's house, and we're just taking pictures, like just the three of us, and my mom and what did I name Stephanie's mom? My mom and Stephanie's mom had we're just like talking and just mentioning like how we didn't have dates. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't think they were trying to like make fun of us, like, hey, you don't have dates, but somehow they mentioned the fact that we did not have dates. And so Jill was like, oh, like, but Lish was asked to formal. And okay, this is backtracking. I actually was asked to this formal, but I had said no because I didn't want to go with this person. So I said no, and that was that. And that was like way back, like months before like formal was like even being talked about. The person had asked me, and I had just said no. And so like I didn't tell my mom that because it didn't seem like important. I had said no. It was just super awkward for me. It didn't seem like that important to tell her, so I hadn't told her. But Jill didn't know that I hadn't told my mom. So for whatever reason, my mom was like, "What? Like you were?" And you were asked, and I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, I was, I guess." And so she was like, "Well, we're gonna talk about this like when you get home." And remember, I wasn't going home that night. I was going to spend the night at Stephanie's house. So it was gonna be a while till I had this talk with my mom. And I was like, I felt like I was like I don't know if I was like in trouble or like what. I'm like, I want to be in trouble. Like I said no, like it's not that big of a deal. But she had the like mom look, and I was just like, okay, now I'm gonna be looking forward to having this conversation. And I just didn't want to talk about it because it was like I said, it was awkward, and I was just like over it, and I didn't want to talk about it again. And so anyways, so I was looking forward to that. And so that just added some more like, uncomfortableness to the evening. And so anyways, we got over that, and we went to Becky's house to get in the limo to meet Tobias. And so, like I said, there was like a group of like 7 of us going with Tobias. So, and Tobias was coming with us, is how we like to look at it. Like he was coming with us, and our friend, our one like token. And I think I had mentioned before that we were all girls, so it was like 7 girls to 1 Tobias. So, anyways, we went there and we took like a billion pictures. Like we just took like a lot of pictures together, the whole group. And anyways, then it was time to go in the limo, and like Tobias, like, and there's like a ton of pictures of this, like Tobias like opening the door for all of us, like all the girls, and like I said, all the girls to 1 Tobias, and he's opening the door for all of us, which now I said, I'm like, oh, like that seems nice, but like at the time it was weird to me. Like it was weird. I don't know. I was like, you don't have to open the door, like just get in the limo. But anyways, so he opened the door for all of us, and there's like a ton of pictures of that for whatever reason. And so we all get in the limo, and I guess it was fun. I don't really remember like how the limo is now that I think about it. So like, and that was like the whole point of it. But so we all go in the limo, and we get to formal, and we go, and we're kind of like all wondering, okay, who's going to be sitting by Tobias. So we go and find out who's sitting by Tobias. And I mean, come on, you knew it was going to be me, right? Like that's where this was going. So I was the lucky winner. I sat by Tobias at the formal. And like honestly, like I mentioned before, like I didn't talk to people that I didn't talk to, so this was like extremely uncomfortable for me because I never talked to Tobias, and I'm sitting by him like at a formal, like it's looking like, yeah, and so I was like super uncomfortable. Okay, so you may be wondering why I'm like look different in this video, or in this part of the video, and that is because I accidentally deleted, I guess, like this big transition part in the story, and so it just like randomly jumps from like literally like location to like a different location, and like makes 0 sense without this part of the story. So I was like, well, it would just totally ruin the story, so I'd either not refilm it and not have video at all, or just do this like random interlude patch up video. Okay, so here's the video. So the last part I was just talking about was that we just got to the formal, and I just realized that I was sitting by Tobias. It was awkward, and I didn't really talk to Tobias at the formal. I don't think I talked to him at all. So I think, you know, other girls in our group, they did talk to him, but I was sitting by him and I just didn't say anything. And it was nothing against Tobias. It was just I was feeling uncomfortable and awkward, and I didn't know what to say, and anything I thought of just made it more awkward. So, and it wasn't even like that awkward. Let's just count how many times I used the word awkward in this video. It didn't have to be awkward. Like, I don't know why I thought it was in that moment. Like, I was just, you know, just sitting by him, good to talk to him. Like, why couldn't I have done that? But anyways, so we were at the formal, and I got through the dinner part, and then went on to the movie part. And at that point you could sit with whoever, so I just probably sat by one of my friends. And then after that we went to Denny's, because we still had time on the limo. So the next part of the video, I'm going to be talking about that, and I'm going to look different. And so here she goes. So we were at the Denny's, and me and my friends didn't want him to pay for us, because it's just like kind of weird. Like, that's what you do if you're on a date, and this was not a date. So it just was not necessary for him to pay for us. And I think that his mom or something had told him, like, you should pay for all of them, because he just like insisted that he paid for all of us, whatever we got at the Denny's. And so I think like eventually we're like, okay, sure, like you can pay for us, whatever, it's almost the end of the night, why not, you know? And so anyways, they paid for us, and then we all went home. The limo took all of us home, and like I said, I was sitting at my friend Stephanie's house, and me and Stephanie were the last ones to be dropped off. So we really didn't want him to walk us to the door. That was just gonna be awkward and weird, and that's what you do on a date. This was not a date. Although all the things, you know, like buying us the limo, sitting at our table, buying us dinner, or buying us, you know, after dinner, and like walking us to the door, or opening doors, like it seemed like it was like this giant, like this weird sister-wife date. So to culminate that, he wanted us to walk us to the door, and that's the one thing we're just like, no, we do not want him to walk us to the door. And so we both knew we didn't want him to walk us to the door, but he was like, okay, like I want to walk you to the door. And so inside we're just like, no. But on the outside we're just like, no, you know, like, no, it's fine, like, you know, we have each other, like, you don't need to walk us to the door, totally unnecessary. So however, that was one thing we were able to get out of. We got out of the car real fast and just like went to her door and went inside, and we didn't let him walk us to the door. And once we were inside, it was just kind of like it was over, we made it. It wasn't that big of a deal, and that was it. And I don't think like we ever spoke of it again, like not in like our high school years. I think like after, like years after, like me and my friend Stephanie are still friends, so it has like randomly been brought up, like, remember that time. And actually I remembered this story because my younger sister texted me like a week ago, like out of the blue, and was just like, hey, remember that one time that you and your friends all went to formal, like with that one guy with Tobias? And I was like, no, but thanks for that, now I remember it. So yeah, little sisters are, you know, great like that, to remind you of those things. So I could do a whole other video on me and my sister, but anyways, so that was that. And like I said, I think I could have made it like less awkward than it was. I mean, I could have easily just like been nice and just like talked to Tobias and like not like freaked out about it, and just like made the best of like kind of a weird, like an awkward like situation. But of course I didn't. I just made it like that much more awkward, just like overthinking it and everything. But honestly, like looking back, I kind of like, why did I have to say like yes? Like I didn't really remember the limo. Like I don't really remember the limo, so obviously like it wasn't that like great. Like the whole limo wasn't like that big of a deal. But I just had to go in a limo, I guess, just to say I've done it. I've been in a limo, so that is my limo story. So was it worth it? I don't know. I don't know why I said yes. I just really wanted to go in a limo. Like, yeah. So moving on to the next experience, trying to like wrap it up, was the time I got kicked out of class. So I got kicked out of class. That is true. What happened was I was in English class, and I believe this was my sophomore year as well. For whatever reason, all these things happened my sophomore year. So anyways, our English teacher, I'm just gonna call him Mr. Jonas. No relation to the Jonas Brothers, of course, because I just made that up. So anyways, I was in Mr. Jonas's class with my friend Paisley. We sat next to each other in that class, and for whatever reason, I was like kind of scared of Mr. Jonas because he was like kind of like strict and stern, and he had like that dry sense of humor that like I just like couldn't like roll with back in the day. Like it just intimidated me, and so I was like a little scared of him, and so I really didn't talk that much in that class. I mean, I didn't talk much in any class, but especially like Mr. Jonas's class, like, you know, when a class is like however much percentage participation, and I'm just like, cool, I'm gonna get a B. So anyways, that was that class, and I actually really liked English. But anyways, so two girls were sitting in front of us in that class, and I wasn't friends with them, but like of course I knew who they were. They knew I was, yeah, of course, small school. So anyways, they were like messing around in that class. Like they were throwing a pen back and forth with each other. Like I don't know why. The teacher was talking. They were probably just bored or whatever. So they were just like tossing a pen back and forth, and it was like kind of distracting. And so then all of a sudden the pen just like shoots off the table and like makes this loud noise, and our teacher just like gets really mad, and he's just like, you out. And so he's like looking at them, looking toward them, I should say. He's looking toward them, and he's like, you out. And they weren't moving, like they didn't do anything, they didn't say anything. So I thought that was really weird, and I was just like confused, because I was like, oh dang, like he's really mad, and he just kicked them out of class and they're not moving. And then I noticed though that he, as like I was looking at him, because they're right in front of me, he's looking like right in that direction, in our direction, and I look at him and I notice he's not looking at them, but he's looking at me and my friend Paisley. Okay, backtrack yet. So backtrack a little bit. My friend Paisley, she was not like afraid or like intimidated like of anything. So like Mr. Jonas did not like intimidate her, but like he terrified me. So he was looking at us, and I was just like so confused and like frozen. Like I didn't know what to do. Like I distinctly remember I just like pointed at myself, and I was like, me? And he's like, yes, like you and you out. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? And so my friend Paisley like gets up, and she's like, come on, like let's go. And so I just get up and like follow her. I don't say anything, just get up like all scared, and I follow her out the door. And I just, as soon as I get out the door, I just start bawling, like crying, and I was so like embarrassed and like upset and like confused, like why did we get kicked out of class? And so we just sit down, and my friend's just like, Paisley's just like, it's okay, like don't worry about it, like stop crying, like it's not that big a deal. But I was just like and I was just like so scared. And then like shortly after, Mr. Jonas comes back out, and I don't know like what was said in class. Like I don't know if anyone told him like, oh, like it wasn't them or whatever. But he comes out, and he's like, looks at me, and he's like, I realized that like you had nothing to do with this, right? Is that right? And I'm just like, and he's like, okay, like you can go back inside in the class. So and he stayed out, and he like talked to Paisley for a second, and so I go back in, and it's just like dead silent. Like everyone's just like quiet and like kind of looking at me, and I was just like so embarrassed. Like I had just been crying, and so like I look a mess. And you know, like the girls in front of me that were the ones that threw the pen, they didn't say anything to me. It was just so awkward and embarrassing. And then they come back, Paisley and Mr. Jonas come back in, and I think it was like the end of class, so then it was like class was over, and then we were just all leaving. And then he pulled the two girls in front of us aside, and he just said like, he told them that he wanted them to apologize to us. And but I was just like, I didn't really want them to, because it was like embarrassing. Like I I didn't want to bring more attention to myself, like from them. And I felt like they were going to like be mad at me or something. I don't know why. I felt like they would be mad at me because I had to apologize. But I honestly, I don't remember. Maybe they apologized to Paisley, but I don't remember that they apologized to me for it. But it really wasn't, I didn't really care at that time because I was just like, I just wanted it to be over with. I didn't want anyone, I didn't want to bring any more attention to it at all. I just wanted it to be like over with. But yeah, so that was the time I got kicked out of class. And now looking back at it, like it wasn't like that big a deal because obviously I didn't do anything. And I don't know why I just didn't say like it wasn't me, like I didn't do anything, like why am I getting kicked out of class? But like I just couldn't like like a lot of times like back then, like I just had trouble like speaking up and like standing up for myself. And that just kind of went with like my quiet like shyness and just I don't know, sometimes it was kind of like I think I'm trying to think of the word. I think it's like debilitating to me, like because there was times like where I should have spoke up or should have stood up for myself, and I just felt like I couldn't. So as far as like, you know, getting into like what I've learned and like regrets and stuff, like I definitely learned like to speak up for myself, and just even just like, you know, opening up more to people. And as far as like, you know, being quiet and shy, like I just always thought of it as kind of like a sickness, like something debilitating to me, like something I had to like get over. And which a little bit I did have to get over some of that shyness and quietness. But mostly I think the thing that kind of helped me, like the mindset that helped me get over that is just like trying to just like kind of just being more open to people and being just being friendly and just being nice to people and just like smiling at people, like opening a way of communication, like something as simple as just like smiling at someone. Like I didn't get that back then. Like I couldn't talk to people, like I didn't know how to, but it's really not a science. It was just me, like I needed to just get over myself, like being self-conscious, and be less self-conscious and be more conscious of others, and you know, reaching out to others than just thinking of what people thought about me. Like I feel like as far as like regrets, like the only regret I really have is that like I feel like I could have been, you know, just like friendlier to people, like been reaching out to someone that maybe didn't have a friend, you know. Like I had like my close friends, I felt like a lot of times I didn't have like a lot of friends, but there's people who had, you know, even less. And I could have been you know, a light in that person's life. I could have reached out to them. I could have just been nice to them, just smiled, just, you know, something as simple as that. Because I had been like instances where like I wasn't at school with my close friends, instances like in high school, my high school days, where like I didn't know anyone, and I felt really alone and lonely, and it was just like the worst feeling ever. And that then there'd be like one person that would come and talk to me, and it would just make a huge difference. You know, all those feelings of like self-consciousness and anxiety just kind of like go away once just like one person reaches out to you. So I feel like I could have been that person to someone else. So I kind of wish I had done that. But now learning, I know that now, and I do try, you know, and be, you know, more friendly, just like talking to someone. You know, if someone says like, how is your day going? And I just, you know, respond back like, good. Like, how are you doing? You know, focusing just like more on others. So I feel like a lot of time people would ask me that, and I'd give a short explanation, but then that would be it. And that's what would be awkward, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like what do I say? Like I don't know what to say. It's like, well, just say like, how are you doing? Like it's easy as that. Like I didn't get that. I thought way too much about it, and I just, instead of just being like, you know, nice, just being nice to people. So since then I've grown a lot in that way, and just like, you know, my faith is a huge part of my life, and I just like learned to trust God more, and just trust like who he made me to be. And just like as far as being like shy, like I used to think it was like a bad thing, and now I still see myself like I'm shy and quiet, but it's okay as long as I can get through. You know, it doesn't have to be debilitating. You know, there's a time that it's okay to be shy, it's okay to be quiet, but as long as you're still, you know, friendly and not like ignoring someone else. So I've kind of learned to just accept that, just like kind of like accept, you know, just like my personality, and just be comfortable just, being me. Here I am, so, and it's so, and, if you're in high school, like that, it's such a short time in your life. Like people say all the time, and it's like, no, this is like, I felt in the moment that it was going to like last forever, but it's such a short time in your life. And just like whatever like label you had like in high school, it doesn't really matter. Like once you're out of high school, like I thought it was so important to be cool and to be like, accepted and, just like liked by everyone. But I kind of learned now that it's okay, like if you're not cool, like just be kind. So it's kind of my tagline here, like you don't have to be cool, but be kind to people. It makes a huge difference. And once I kind of, like embrace that, and like I'm like, I know, like I'm never gonna be cool, like that's just not who I am. I have zero chill. I'm not cool. Never gonna be cool, and that's okay. I don't even aspire to that anymore. I just aspire to be someone who is, a kind person, and who just is a light to someone else, and who makes others feel welcome and and loved. Just show love to others and forget the rest. Just don't, it doesn't matter like what people think about you. I know people say that all the time, but like it really doesn't, as long as you're being to me it's important to be someone who shows the love of Christ, and as long as like that's what I'm doing, then it's okay. No one has to think I'm cool, about that. So anyways, just to wrap it up, congratulations to the class of 2018. Your whole life is ahead of you, and there's so much to learn, there's so much to experience, so much good things are to come. And even if you're if you're class 08, what there's 10 more years to come, and hopefully many more, that for us to learn and grow. And that time since high school just passed by so by, and I think the next 10 years are going to go by even faster. So just enjoy them and grow and love your family and love your friends. All right, well, that's it. My first story chat time video. I hope someone watched it and enjoyed it. And I hope if you like this video, you subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. Bye.